A clash of civilizations, setting the stage for Marathon. This is a tale of courage, strategy, and the indomitable human spirit. The year is 490 BC. The world is on the brink of a monumental clash that will echo through the annals of history. The mighty Persian Empire, stretching from Egypt to India, clashes with the nascent democracy of Athens. This is not just a battle of armies, but a battle of ideologies. This conflict, known as the Greco-Persian Wars, pits East against West, tyranny against freedom. It is a struggle that will determine the future of Western civilization. The Persians, led by King Darius I, sought to punish the Athenians for supporting Greek city-states in Ionia, modern-day Turkey, that had rebelled against Persian rule. The stakes were high. The Persians were determined to make an example of Athens. The outcome of this conflict would shape the destiny of Greece, and indeed, the entire Western world. The very essence of democracy and freedom hung in the balance. Darius assembled a formidable invasion force, comprising ships and soldiers drawn from across his vast empire. This was a display of power meant to intimidate and overwhelm. Their objective was simple: to crush Athenian resistance and bring the city-state to its knees. The Athenians, however, were not easily cowed. The Persians, confident in their numerical superiority and military prowess, landed on the plains of Marathon, a seemingly insignificant coastal area approximately 26 miles or 42 kilometers from Athens. They believed victory was assured. Little did they know that they were about to face an enemy determined to fight for its very survival. The Athenians, though outnumbered, were fueled by a fierce determination to protect their homeland and their way of life. They knew that the Battle of Marathon would be a defining moment in their history. The Athenians, led by their generals, meticulously planned their defense. They understood that their only chance of victory lay in strategy and the element of surprise. Every man was prepared to give his life for the cause. As the Persian army advanced, the tension was palpable. The stage was set for an epic confrontation. The Athenians stood ready, their hearts steeled for the battle that would determine their fate. The Battle of Marathon was not just a clash of armies, but a testament to the resilience and courage of the human spirit. It was a fight for freedom, for democracy, and for the future of Western civilization. The legacy of this battle would endure for millennia, inspiring countless generations to come. Leading the Athenian defense was Miltiades the Younger, a seasoned general who had fought against the Persians in Thrace. Miltiades understood Persian military tactics. He knew that the Athenians, outnumbered and outmatched, had to choose their battles carefully. On the Persian side, command fell to Datis, a Median admiral in the service of Darius. Datis was a capable commander, but he underestimated the Athenians' resolve. He believed that a show of force would be enough to cow the Greeks into submission. Miltiades, however, had other plans. He recognized the strategic importance of the Marathon plain. It provided a narrow battleground, negating the Persian advantage in numbers and cavalry. The Athenians, heavily outnumbered, were joined by a contingent of Plataeans, who remained loyal despite the threat of Persian reprisals. Together, they prepared to face the might of the Persian Empire. The plains of Marathon, where the Persians chose to land, were deceptively significant. Hemmed in by mountains on three sides and the sea to the east, Marathon offered a natural bottleneck. This geographical quirk would work against the Persians. Their numerical advantage in infantry and cavalry, so effective in open battles, would be nullified in the narrow confines of the plain. Miltiades, the Athenian general, saw this tactical advantage. He understood that by forcing the Persians to fight on his terms, he could negate their superior numbers. He deployed his forces along the valley, blocking the two main exits and minimizing the Persian advantage. The Persians, for their part, were confident in their superior numbers. They lined up in their traditional battle formation with the strongest units in the center and lighter troops on the flanks. What they didn't realize was that the terrain itself would play a crucial role in the battle to come. Section 4. Athenian Tactics, Outnumbered but not outmaneuvered. Miltiades, facing a Persian army several times larger than his own, knew that a traditional frontal assault would be suicidal. The Persians, with their vast numbers and formidable reputation, seemed an unstoppable force. The Athenians, however, were not deterred by the sheer size of their enemy. They understood that victory would not come from brute strength, but from superior strategy and cunning. He needed a plan, a way to use the terrain and his limited forces to maximum effect. The landscape of Marathon, with its hills and valleys, offered both challenges and opportunities. Miltiades spent hours studying the terrain, looking for any advantage he could exploit. He knew that the right strategy could turn the tide of battle, even against overwhelming odds. His solution was both simple and audacious. He would employ a tactic that would deceive the Persians into thinking they had the upper hand. This required not just clever planning, but also the unwavering discipline and courage of his men. He would thin out his center, making it appear weaker than it actually was, while heavily reinforcing his flanks with his most experienced hoplites. This deceptive formation was designed to lure the Persians into a trap. The center would appear vulnerable, an inviting target for the Persian forces. The plan was to lure the Persians into attacking the weakened center, then envelop and destroy them with a counterattack from the flanks. As the Persians advanced, they would find themselves surrounded on three sides, caught in a deadly pincer movement. This maneuver required precise timing and coordination, and the Athenians trained rigorously to perfect it. This strategy, however, relied on several factors. The Athenians needed to maintain their discipline under pressure, and their flanks had to hold firm against the initial Persian onslaught. Any sign of weakness or hesitation could spell disaster. The Athenians would have to withstand the initial Persian assault without breaking. The first moments of the battle would be crucial as the Persians tested the strength of the Athenian lines. The hoplites, with their heavy armor and long spears, formed a formidable defensive wall. They would also need to exploit any gaps or weaknesses that appeared in the Persian lines. The Athenians were trained to look for these opportunities, to strike swiftly and decisively when the moment came. Their success depended on their ability to adapt and respond to the chaos of battle. The Athenian soldiers, heavily armored hoplites armed with spears and swords, prepared for what would be a desperate fight for their very existence. Each man knew that his skill and bravery could make the difference between victory and defeat. They had trained for this moment, honing their skills and building their strength. Each man knew the stakes, the freedom of Athens, the future of their families, and the fate of Greek civilization itself hung in the balance. The weight of history pressed upon their shoulders, but they stood resolute, ready to face whatever came. Their courage and determination would be tested, but they were prepared to give everything for their homeland. The Battle of Marathon would become a defining moment, not just for Athens, but for the entire Greek world. Section 5. The Persian perspective, overconfidence, and a fatal miscalculation. The Persians, accustomed to easy victories against disorganized opponents, vastly underestimated the Athenians. Their intelligence reports likely downplayed Athenian resolve and military skill. This overconfidence would prove to be their undoing. From their vantage point on the plains of Marathon, the Persians saw a smaller, seemingly disorganized Athenian army arrayed against them. Their scouts reported a weakened center ripe for exploitation. This was exactly what Miltiades had hoped for. Confident in their superior numbers and believing victory to be a foregone conclusion, the Persians advanced. Their strategy, as was typical for Persian warfare, was a straightforward assault meant to overwhelm the enemy with sheer numbers. They did not anticipate the ferocity of the Athenian counterattack, nor did they foresee the crucial role that the terrain itself would play in the battle to come. The Persians, blinded by their arrogance, walked straight into Miltiades' carefully laid trap. Section 6. The Clash of Arms, a desperate struggle for supremacy. The stage was set for one of the most pivotal battles in ancient history, where the fate of Western civilization hung in the balance. The battle began with a volley of arrows from the Persian ranks, darkening the sky as they descended upon the Athenian forces. This was followed by a fierce charge of their infantry, a wave of soldiers surging forward with deadly intent. The Athenians, their flanks strengthened and their spirits high, withstood the initial onslaught with remarkable resilience. The center, as planned, buckled but did not break, creating a strategic trap for the advancing Persians. Then, at a prearranged signal, a horn blast echoed across the battlefield. The Athenian flanks surged forward with a ferocity that caught the Persians off guard, their hoplites forming an impenetrable wall of bronze and steel, crashing into the Persian lines with devastating force. The Persians, taken by surprise by the ferocity of the attack and the unexpected maneuver, began to waver, their confidence shaken. The fighting was hand-to-hand, brutal and unforgiving, with neither side willing to give an inch. Athenian hoplites, their superior armor and weaponry giving them an edge, fought with a determination born of the knowledge that their homes and families depended on their victory. They hacked their way through the Persian ranks, each blow a testament to their training and resolve. The Persians, their lines crumbling under the relentless Athenian assault, began to panic. Miltiades, the Athenian commander, seizing the moment, ordered a general advance. The Athenian center, which had held firm against the initial Persian attack, now joined the assault with renewed vigor, pushing the Persians back towards the sea, their retreat turning into a rout. The Persians, their formations broken and their ranks in disarray, were routed. The Athenians had not only defended their land, but had also struck a decisive blow against the might of Persia, securing their place in history.